A very good afternoon to all of you. You're watching Midday News. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the bulletin rolling with the headlines first. Supreme Court to conclude Ayodhya case hearing today. Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi says hearing to be over by 5 p.m. today. Refuses to admit any intervention petition. Enforcement Directorate arrests former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. Arrest after questioning by ED officials at the Har jail in INX Media money laundering case. PM Narendra Modi campaigns in Maharashtra. Lists his government's achievements for development of people. NCP Chief Pawar to address also rallies in the state. Amit Shah Mayawati to canvass for votes in Haryana. Constitution a tribute to vision of decorated lawyers who drafted it, says Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in his address to law students of PES University. Calls upon them to ensure justice reaches the last person. RSTV key link between Parliament and people, says Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma in his address at Inter-Parliamentary Union in Serbia, says channel well received due to complete editorial autonomy. The Supreme Court will conclude the hearing in the Ayodhya land dispute case today. The final arguments are currently underway in the Apex Court. Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi has refused to take any intervention application in the case, making it clear that the matter is going to be over by 5 p.m. this evening. Today is the 40th day of hearing in the case. Earlier on Tuesday, the CJI indicated that it would like to conclude all arguments by Wednesday instead of Thursday, 17th October, which was the earlier deadline. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi has been hearing the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid title suit for 39 days now. The bench will have to pronounce a ruling by 17th November as the CJI will retire on that date. The top court is hearing appeals against the September 2010 verdict of the Allahabad High Court. The High Court had ruled that the 2.77-acre land in Ayodhya be partitioned equally among the three parties, the Sunni Waqf Board, the Nirmohi Akhada and Ramlala. Our news correspondent Vipin Chauhan is with us online. Let's speak with him and gather more information on this. Vipin, the hearing in Ayodhya land dispute case is to be concluded today in Supreme Court. What is expected to be the outcome?
देखिए अदिति, जिस तरह से 6 अगस्त को सुनवाई शुरू हुई थी इस पूरे अयोध्या और बाबरी टाइटल डिस्प्यूट केस की, आज उसका 40वां दिन है। हालांकि गुरुवार तक का समय दिया था चीफ जस्टिस ने, लेकिन उसको समय को कम करते हुए सभी पक्षों को आज अपनी जो सारी दलील हैं वो कॉन्क्लूड करने का लिए बोला है और आज 5 बजे तक वो कॉन्क्लूड हो भी जाएगी। तो इस मामले में इसके बाद जो जजमेंट का टाइम मिलेगा वो 20 से 25 दिन के अंदर जजमेंट आने की उम्मीद है। लेकिन आज जो मोल्डिंग ऑफ रिलीफ पर भी चर्चा हुई, वो एक खास तौर पर आपको बता दूं कि सिविल डिस्प्यूट केसेस में मोल्डिंग ऑफ रिलीफ पर चर्चा करना, यानी कि किसी भी तरह से फैसले का फिर से विवाद ना खड़ा हो, इसमें सभी पक्षों को सहमति बन जाए और एक जो पूरा इस पर जो निष्कर्ष निकलेगा वो कहीं ना कहीं सभी पक्षों को सेटिस्फाई कर दे, इसके लिए इस पर खास तौर पर चर्चा हुई। हालांकि बीच में मध्यस्थता पैनल ने अपनी रिपोर्ट भी कोर्ट में दी है, जिसमें साफ तौर पर कहा गया है कि सुन्नी वक्फ बोर्ड जो विवादित स्थल है उससे कहीं और जमीन लेने के लिए सहमत हो गया था। तो वो भी एक जो आज की इस पूरी की पूरी दलील और पक्ष में शामिल किया गया है, वो भी कहीं ना कहीं एक चीज साफ करता है कि जिस तरह का विवाद है और जिस तरह का ये सॉल्यूशन की तरफ बढ़ रहा है, वो कहीं ना कहीं आने वाले समय में किसी तरह का कोई विवाद ना हो इसके पूरे फैसले से। जी अदिति।
G. Vipin, thank you so much for joining us. And now let's head towards the election news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the public in Maharashtra's Akola district today. Listing Maharashtra government's achievements in last 5 years, PM said Devendra Fadnavis-led government has worked for the empowerment of poor. He said schemes like PM Awas Yojana, Ujjwala Yojana and Swachh Bharat have helped people in every village and community. He is also scheduled to address rallies in Partur and Panvel districts later today.
अपना कल्याण, अपने परिवार का कल्याण, इसके विपरीत फडणवीस जी के नेतृत्व में आपने पिछले 5 साल में एक ऐसी सरकार का काम देखा है जिसका मकसद रहा है एकमात्र मकसद, एकमात्र संकल्प, एकमात्र लक्ष्य और वो है महाराष्ट्र का विकास, महाराष्ट्र के लोगों का विकास और जन जन का कल्याण। बाबा साहब आंबेडकर के प्रति हमारी आस्था ही है जो सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबका विश्वास को हमने नए भारत के विकास का मूल मंत्र बनाया है। ये वीर सावरकर के ही संस्कार है जो राष्ट्रवाद को हमने राष्ट्र निर्माण के मूल में रखा है।
Campaigning has also picked up pace in poll-bound Haryana. BJP chief Amit Shah will address multiple rallies in the state today. He will be campaigning in Faridabad, Panipat, Chhajjar and Gurugram today. BSP chief Mayawati will also campaign in Haryana for her party candidates. In Battleground today, we look at the South Haryana region, which sends 29 MLAs to the assembly. While there are 4 key parties in the fray, the BJP and Congress are the main players. However, internal rift in the parties remains a contentious issue.
Top party leaders campaigning for the first time in Haryana since the general elections earlier this year, when BJP decimated the Congress by winning all 10 parliamentary seats. Congress, which is battling an internal rift, is taking on an electorally resurgent BJP, which is fighting under the leadership of Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar. For the third player in the state, the Indian National Lok Dal, this election is all about retaining political relevance after a shocking rout in the Lok Sabha elections. Newly formed Jan Nayak Janata Party, which broke away from the Indian National Lok Dal last year, has also emerged as a key player. However, despite there being multiple players in the field, the main contest remains between the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress Party. Spread over 8 districts comprising 29 seats, South Haryana is an important region which all these parties would like to secure. The region comprises Faridabad, Palwal, Jhajjar, Gurugram, Rewari, Mewat, Charkhi Dadri and Mahendragarh districts. Faridabad has the maximum number of 6 seats, followed by Gurugram, Mahendragarh and Jhajjar with 4 seats. Rewari, Mewat and Palwal sent 3 MLAs each to the Vidhan Sabha and Charkhi Dadri has 2 assembly seats. In 2009, Congress had won 15 of the 29 seats in South Haryana but managed to retain only 5 seats in 2014. Interestingly, the BJP, which had won only 1 seat in 2009 in this region, went on to win 17 in 2014. The Indian National Lok Dal too came down to 5 seats in 2014 from 8 in 2009. Fresh from its huge Lok Sabha victory in May, the BJP is tipped to win the assembly elections in Haryana. However, rebels of both BJP and the Congress could alter the electoral math, as many are contesting as independents after tickets were denied to them. The Jananayak Janata Party could also play spoilsport in the October 21st election. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With this, we'll halt in for a quick break, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
Three million people have now given the thumbs up to Rajya Sabha television. RSTV's growth has been phenomenal, with the journey from 2 million to 3 million being completed in less than 6 months. That's over 6,200 new subscribers every day. Our online viewers are engaging with us more actively. Every day, thousands like, share and comment on our videos. So come and join this growing tribe of RSTV viewers and get ready for an exciting journey.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song Amar Shonar Bangla as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Welcome back. You're watching Midday News. Enforcement Directorate arrested former Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram today in the INX media money laundering case. Chidambaram, who is lodged in Tihar jail, was questioned by ED officials for nearly an hour. The arrest comes a day after a special court agreed to ED's request for his custodial interrogation. The arrest has been made under the provision of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs will meet today to decide on the dates of the winter session of Parliament. The meeting would be held this evening at the residence of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who heads the panel. In the upcoming session, the government is looking to convert 2 crucial ordinances into law, according to sources. One ordinance was issued in September to give effect to amendments in the Income Tax Act 1961 and Finance Act 2019. The second ordinance deals with a ban on sale, manufacture and storage of e-cigarettes and similar devices. In the past 2 years, the winter session was convened on 21st November and had continued till the first week of January. India has retained its rank as the world's fastest growing economy along with China in a report by the International Monetary Fund. In its latest World Economic Outlook, the IMF projected India's growth rate at 6.1% in 2019, which is 1.2% down from its April projections. It noted that it's expected to pick up to 7.0% in 2020. China, whose GDP grew at 6.6% in 2018, is now projected to grow at 6.1% in 2019 and 5.8% in 2020. The IMF warned that the global economy is in a synchronized slowdown due to growing trade barriers and heightened geopolitical tensions. The global growth has been projected at 3%. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu interacted with students from PES University, Bengaluru, at his residence in New Delhi today. Addressing the law students, Vice President Naidu said that they are important stakeholders in ensuring that justice reaches the last man. He said that Indian Constitution is a tribute to the vision of those who drafted it as they were decorated lawyers of their times. He stressed on the need for judicial processes to become more people-friendly. He also called for promoting alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to provide justice in a faster and affordable way and reduce pendency of cases. He also highlighted plans to make India the hub of international arbitration.
I feel these examples are sufficient to highlight the role of a lawyer can play, rather should play, in guiding and shaping the society. As lawyers, you will be important stakeholders in ensuring that people have access to justice. It is very important that justice reaches the last man, as it forms the basis of a stable and prosperous society. Sense of injustice often leads to alienation and sometimes even depression, and also creates unrest. That's why my firm belief is that the judicial process must become more people-friendly. The law enforcing machinery and the justice dispensing structures must be accessible, credible, equitable, and transparently even-handed. There is a lot of ground we have to convert in this regard. The Chief Justice of India has recently talked about heavy pendants of cases in various courts.
3 terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag district on Wednesday. The encounter broke out at Puzzlepura area in Anantnag on a specific intelligence provided by the district police. The official said all the 3 local terrorists have been neutralized. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that public sector banks went through their worst phase under the combination of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan. Delivering a lecture titled Indian Economy, Challenges and Prospects, organized by the Deepak and Neera Raj Center at Columbia University in New York on Tuesday, Sitharaman said that giving all the public sector banks a lifeline is her primary duty. She said that it was during Raghuram Rajan's tenure as governor of the Reserve Bank that loans were given just based on phone calls from crony leaders. She said that public sector banks in India are still suffering from that. Speaking on government's decision to scrap Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir, Nirmala Sitharaman said that special status denied women from the state inheritance rights, which was a serious human rights violation. Secretary General Rajya Sabha Deepak Verma on Tuesday addressed the Association of Secretaries General of Parliament, the advisory body of the Inter-Parliamentary Union IPU in Serbia. Speaking on the implementation of the law method of scrutiny for parliaments, the Secretary General spoke about the role of the subordinate legislation in India. He added that the Parliament is working to make the Subordinate Legislation Committee more effective. He also called for a third-party evaluation of the committee. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla is leading the Indian delegation of the MPs for the 141st Assembly of IPU.
When the acts are made, it is possible, and the acts are made through our system of the parliamentary committees. We have 24 parliamentary committees in the country, of which 16 are in the lower house and 8 in the upper house. And the committee consists of the members of the parliament from both the houses, from the lower house as well as the upper house. And after the committee has examined the bill, this is brought before the house, which passes it, and then it goes to the president for the assent. Now, it might happen that when the bill is being examined and the bill is being passed, there are certain nuances, there are some intricate details which have not been seen by the committee, and for that we have a system of subordinate legislation, a committee of subordinate legislation which basically oversees this process as to whether subsequent to the passing of a bill, the subordinate rules and regulations which are necessary for implementation of that law, whether those subordinate rules and regulations have been framed or not. And there is a 15-member committee which is known as Committee on Subordinate Legislation. This committee deals with the issue and also ensures that the government does form a rule and regulation to implement this. This committee has been a very potent instrument for scrutiny of the executive failed in the detailed legislation. We are still looking forward to the aspect that we can make this committee even more effective and more purposeful. We need to strengthen the committee, and in this respect I would like to refer to the discussions which were held in this House yesterday, that whether a third party evaluation of whether the mandate of the law which has been passed has been truly and truthfully executed by the government, or what has been the impact of this legislation, that can be entrusted to a third party, whether that could be a feasible solution. This is, I would beseech for this House also to deliberate upon this.
Rajya Sabha Secretary General also gave a presentation on the functioning of Rajya Sabha television at the 141st Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union in Serbia, highlighting its role in strengthening trust between Parliament and the people. Verma said that apart from presenting a comprehensive and positive account of the functioning of Parliament, RSTV also presents analysis of the House proceedings and other issue-based programs.
There would be a need for dedicated parliamentary television channel for two reasons. One, that we decided to have a simultaneous telecast of the proceedings of the House, both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So we wanted to have a simultaneous telecast of the channel, parliamentary proceedings. Also to cover all other activities of the Parliament, like to give publicity to important committee reports, to highlight the work done by members during the intercession period. Well, the channels, why it was thought of to have these channels was there is a need for constant communication and engagement between Parliament and the people. As I have said earlier, that they are the most valuable participant and the most valuable stakeholder. Also, there was a need for presenting a comprehensive and positive account of functioning of Parliament. For some good or bad reasons, among all the democracies, the polity, the parliamentarians somehow have a very bad image, and we have a very cynical approach towards assessing the Parliament and the parliamentarian. So it was thought that the Parliament TV probably can correct that distortion, and therefore there was a need for TV channel which was felt.
Verma also talked about the rising popularity of the channel, attributing it to the complete editorial autonomy immune from government interference.
How much time of the Parliament has been wasted because of the disruptions, because of people coming to the well of the House or not letting the House function. And when that behavior is shown to them, and as people get more informed and educated, the use of the channel has actually improved, and therefore the productive time of the Parliament, in fact the last session was about 120-130%, both for the Lok Sabha and for the Rajya Sabha. So that's a major achievement which you have got, and I've shown you the figures that the YouTube subscribers figure that has also gone 7 times.
US President Donald Trump has sanctioned its ally Turkey for its invasion of Syria. Trump has demanded an immediate ceasefire in Syria while announcing a series of sanctions for Ankara. In an open threat, Trump said that America is ready to swiftly destroy Turkey's economy in response to the NATO allies' military offensive in northern Syria. Turkish offensive on Kurdish fighters began last week after US decided to withdraw troops from Syria. Meanwhile, a delegation headed by Vice President Mike Pence and including Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will visit Ankara today to press the Turks to stop their military offensive. Speaking to reporters at the White House on Tuesday, Trump also reiterated that his administration wants to bring US soldiers back home.
And now I'm sort of an island of one again, but now it's maybe happening again. That 30 kilometers, about 22 miles strip along Turkey. And the Kurds are tending to leave, and that's good. Let them have their borders. But I don't think our soldiers should be there for the next 50 years guarding a border between Turkey and Syria when we can't guard our own borders at home. I don't think so. I've made clear to Turkey that if they do not meet their commitments, including the protection of religious minorities and also watching over the ISIS prisoners that we captured, we will impose a very swift, strong, and severe economic sanctions, like I did with respect to my negotiations to get Pastor Brunson out.
Turkish President Erdogan dismissed the US proposal to broker a ceasefire in northern Syria and said he was not worried over US sanctions. Reacting to the offensive, Russia said that it will not allow clashes between Turkish and Syrian forces. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Midday News. Thank you so much for joining us.